What's the most disturbing thing your brother has ever done? My wife never understood what I meant when I said I'd die for her, so I showed her. We were walking the street one day when a man passed by and purred at her. I instantly locked eyes with him, and instead of backing down, he smirked. Before I knew it, my face was meeting his jaw, over and over again. In between each blow, I could make out the words, "I'm sorry." But as soon as I thought he was finally walking away, he turned back around. "Is what I would say if I was actually sorry," he said, before grabbing my wife's chest at full force. My body completely took over. I didn't even realize how badly I had messed him up until I saw the flashing red and blue lights. As I got pulled into the cop car, I caught sight of the douche sitting on the floor in tears, acting like a little victim. Meanwhile, my wife was begging them not to take me away, but all I saw was that she was uninjured, and I knew I had done the right thing. After that, I was taken into holding, and there was no way in heck I'd let my wife live alone. So after making a few calls, I organized for her to stay with my brother Kevin, which was perfect, because he was also our lawyer for the case. After 2 days, Kevin finally paid my bail, and we all started planning for the trial together. And as much as I appreciated it, there was always this nagging feeling in the pit of my stomach, because sometimes, when my wife stretched her arms up super high or reached over to grab something, I swear I could see his eyes running along every inch of her body. But I figured that after our run-in, I was just being overprotective, so I pushed it to the back of my mind. We spent the next 6 months doing everything we could to build our case. I even tried to bribe the douche's friends into admitting they saw what happened. It didn't work, but still, I was trying. But Kevin was better than me. Even though we were practically broke, he was putting hours every day into making sure our case was bulletproof. He had managed to find a witness to testify that he'd seen this behavior from douche before. A screenshot of his private story where he bragged about the assault, and, last but not least, a blurry video someone had taken from afar, capturing the whole thing. But in the 6 months of extreme stress and pain, there was one part much worse than everything else. My wife blamed herself. Maybe if I wore something else, maybe if I hadn't made eye contact with him, were all excuses she tried to give for his actions. I had to reassure her countless times that I would do it again, even if it meant being in jail for life. And that, of course, it was nowhere near her fault. Then came the day of the case, the day I realized that I was the one to ruin her life. Because somehow, when it was Kevin's turn to present, he didn't use any of the evidence he previously claimed to have gathered. Instead, his folder consisted of a printed photo from me and my wife's wedding, and her emotional testimony. Look, folks, this is what he was protecting. Let's all be more understanding, aight? I swear I thought he was pranking us or something, but then he sat back down. My beautiful wife looked like she was about to cry. Meanwhile, I clenched my fists so hard they were completely white. The courtroom was so quiet you could practically hear a pin drop. Luckily, I was charged with 5 years in prison with no possibility of parole, because it was meant to be 10, but I guess the judge sort of knew I had done the right thing. As soon as I was in prison, I called my wife. "I know Kevin did this on purpose. I'm going to do everything I can to keep you safe from him." "Stop, baby. You're spiraling. I know it's hard, but let's not point fingers." Her words stopped me in my tracks. She was always the type to see the good in people, even if there wasn't any. The more I tried to argue that he was a bad person, the more she pushed back. I wish I had known that it was the last time I'd ever talk to her again, because the woman that picked up the phone the next day wasn't my wife, for the most part anyway. As soon as I heard her voice, I practically yelled, "Hey, beautiful." Her tone used to light up when she heard me, as if talking to me was the best part of her day. But now, nothing. I swear I thought she was pranking me, but that's when I heard her start to sniffle. I instantly knew something was very wrong. "Baby Kevin, he touched me. I'm sorry." I had to stop myself from throwing the entire phone box at the wall. My worst nightmare had come true. I told her to use my card to get an Uber to her sister's house, that I didn't care what she did, as long as she was safe. "Okay," she said with a certain numbness in her voice. Suddenly, my time on. The phone was over. So I told her I'd call her the next morning, and we'd figure something out. As soon as she hung up, I felt like an attack dog let loose, because there was one thing I would never tolerate, and that was anyone who wanted to hurt my wife. After I was done with him, Kevin was going to wish he was never even born with eyes that he could look at my wife with, because I was in prison, a place filled with people that knew people who'd do anything for some quick cash. The rest of the full video is on my channel and linked below.